friends, I'm Joe. This is Spirit of 76. Today, we're at the ZaGray Farm Museum. We're going to see sawmills, tractors, tractor pulls, and all kinds of equipment and machinery. Stay tuned. We're going to have some fun. Ain't that right, boys?
Yeah! Yeah!
So the ZaGray Farm Museum is located in Colchester, Connecticut. It's a must visit for anybody in the New England area. It's hard to explain because it's more than just one thing. It's barns full of history, it's tractor pulls, it's characters, there's machines everywhere. Anything running gas or diesel can probably be found in one form or another here. One of my favorite exhibits, though, is definitely the 1870s Lane Sawmill. On this particular sawmill, there's actually a patent from one of the ZaGray family members. It has to do with some of the original screw log dogs that's used to secure the log on the carriage. Me and the boys spent a total of 3 hours there, but we could have easily enjoyed ourselves for 3 days. Just when you think you've seen everything, you turn the corner and learn something new. Throughout the day, there's exhibits and live demonstrations. But I was pretty mesmerized by the mill. Those of you that follow the channel know I've recently got into sawmilling with a little Wood-Mizer LX25, and there's just something about the smell of sawdust in the air that is intoxicating to a guy like me. But it wasn't long till the boys brought me over to the tractor pull area. And I guess this was a Sunday-only event for tractor pulls, and they had different classes, but it's always a good show. Many of you probably have these in your county fairs. But it just seemed like we were able to get real close to the action here, as I'm sure the film shows. Boy, that was a nice little wheelie off the line for that young man. There's just something very real and very tangible and up close, very personal at this particular show. Again, this is the Spring 21 show. 3 times a year, they open up the entire campus. And it's really made possible by all these men here in the yellow and orange shirts. Just loads of volunteers who are interested in preserving history, one machine at a time, I guess. In some of these spanning shots, you'll see what seems like a lot of old rusty equipment, but I guarantee you, if you spent the whole weekend there, almost everything you put your eyes on does run. They keep these machines running, working, and this entire farmstead is maintained and honestly dramatically improved by the volunteers and the equipment that's kept at this place. And again, you see characters coming and going, but that's all just part of the show. Boy, watching this mill work and turn 24-inch logs into nothing but sticks sure was fun. I'm always amazed that the original mills ran such large, open-face, circular blades, but that they worked by moving the log rather than the blade. This mill was certainly not short on power, or was it short on help? I'm sure we all wish we had 4-man crews for our Sunday afternoon projects. But they made short work of 3 or 4 logs in the time that we sat there and watched.
In the morning, we did demo in the afternoon. Dave thinks about 150 2x4s.
What are you gonna do today?
How long did that take?
I gotta make a 2x10 out of this. 10x10 rather, and then 2x4, 2x8s.
Okay, 2x4s and 2x8s today. And what was the other question?
How long did that pile take?
We did probably an hour and a half to 2 hours in the morning at 10 o'clock, and then we probably did another about the same in the afternoon, so probably figure between 2 and 3 hours.
How many teeth on that blade?
How many teeth? Dave would know.
A lot. 50, no, 40, 48.
One thing a big guy like me can appreciate is there's continuous hay rides offered free. And you hop on this old hay wagon, and antique tractor pulls you around the campus, and you really can kind of take it all in. When you first get there, if you've never been, you probably should, just to get a scope of things. It's a really enjoyable ride. It's covered wagon, so you get out of the sun for a minute. And you can decide what your next stop's going to be. But even these machines here on the left were up and running at a different point in the day. One of the things I was really impressed with is the old winch-powered excavators and other digging equipment. Obviously this isn't one here, but right about now you'll see just the number of levers and just the intelligence of the operator in the cab as he manages all of his tasks. Again, just a nice Sunday afternoon to enjoy the action. One of the things at ZaGray's is an entire building dedicated to stationary motors, one-lungers. This was one of my favorite characters there. I just jokingly called him Mr. Oliver as he passed by. I think he liked the compliment. I don't know how rare Oliver tractor apparel is, but I'm pretty sure he had every piece of it. This tractor was interesting. I had the optional double seat in case you wanted to take the missus out on a sunset cruise. Some tractors were a little easier than others in pulling that weight. Doodlebug. That's on the someday list with an Airstream in the background. You turn the corner and it becomes a big old diesel. Like I said, they process their own dirt there, and It's really incredible to see how they've improved the campus over the years. This is one of their latest improvements. They finished what they called their big barn. It's a structure of, I would say, 80 feet by 200 feet. They have a lot of details up on their website about this particular structure. It was a major effort. I know they did many of the, or all of the milling for it, fundraising. A lot of the raw materials came right from the property. And again, it just houses and preserves history. Real rare tractors.
You did great.
And no matter how many times you look, you feel like you need to look again. Here's the cleanest white farm mall you'll ever see. Yep, there's no shortage of equipment here. Like I said, you could spend the whole weekend and not see it all, but they're doing a great job out there in Colchester. And, you know, another thing you have to appreciate, children under 12 are free. It was only $5 for the adults, and everything else once you're on the campus is free. The hayrides and the demonstrations, completely free, and everyone there was willing to talk and tell you about their particular piece of equipment or what they knew and sharing their knowledge. It's an extremely friendly environment there. I loved that old little Caterpillar in the back. Or how about a PTO on the front bumper? As you circle the pond on the stationary motors building, you'll come across this fella. Don't say hello unless you've got 30 minutes to talk, but he's got a lot to say. He's very proud of his equipment. He knows it inside and out, and there's a wealth of knowledge there. The original economy tractor. Here's an example of how you would jumpstart your motor back in the 1800s. Just pull up a second motor and hook up a belt. When you first come up to the show, you might be surprised. You might think it's only vendors. The first couple fields are about a football field plus of just vendors with all kinds of cool treasures, rust, metal, oily gold, that kind of thing. And of course, I'm going to take my time looking at chainsaws. And of course, I'm going to take my time looking at signs of chainsaws. So these guys got into a good conversation with me today. And again, it just goes to show friendly event this is. Unfortunately, I don't think that Poland brand has quite lived up to the sign of world's greatest chainsaw. But definitely some good man cave pieces. And some even bigger pieces if your man cave happens to be the barn. Row after row, incredibly well-maintained machines. A couple of them are for sale if you happen to have a little extra coin in your pocket. These were a pair of Fords that, between the 841 Powermatic and the Select Speed Golden Paint Job, and then, of course, who doesn't love a good flathead V8 conversion on their N-Series tractor? For all my hot rod friends out there. And there were a few hot rods. There's a antique vehicle area. I would say about a dozen were there that particular time. So swing by and meet this young man. I'm sure the folks at ZaGray would love to see you. Go ahead and hit subscribe now. It's free and it really helps me out.